Update in the conflict with Iran, U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying it's possible the United States Navy will escort commercial ships through the Strait of Hormuz as the global oil market is choked off from the Middle East supply. Let's go to NewsNation's Tom Dempsey. He joins us live at the White House. Tom, what do we know about the progress of these strikes against Iran?
Hey, Alex, good afternoon from the White House. Well, look, a short time ago, President Trump posted to Truth Social saying that these U.S. strikes have completely decimated Iran. And he also called on other countries that receive oil through the Strait of Hormuz to do more to combat that Iranian threat in the area right now. We want to show you this post that came down, like I said, a short while ago from the president, where he talks about this, writing in part, quote, "The countries of the world that receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. And we will help a lot. The U.S. will also coordinate with those countries so that everything goes quickly, smoothly, and well." But of course, this all follows an earlier post today where he wrote, quote, "Many countries, especially those who are affected by Iran's attempted closure of the Hormuz Strait, will be sending warships in conjunction with the United States of America to keep the strait open and safe." And this all comes after President Trump tried to really ease some of the concerns about gas prices on Friday.
You're going to see a very big decrease in the price of gasoline, gas, or anything having to do with energy. But as soon as this is ended, but we had to end the nuclear threat in the Middle East and throughout the world. So we will have done that.
President Trump added that the U.S. carried out big hits on Friday against Iran, including what he described as one of the most powerful bombing raids in Middle Eastern history, targeting military sites on Karg Island, which is a key location which handles Iran's oil exports. The president saying strikes did not target oil infrastructure there, but adding that that could change if the Strait of Hormuz remains contested. But of course, as our viewers know, gas prices here in the United States still bring ongoing concerns. Gas Buddy data showing the average price for a gallon of regular up over 70 cents from last month and almost a quarter from last week. Also of note, too, that data from the United Nations shows maritime traffic along the Strait of Hormuz down 97% now that the war has started in the Middle East. Alex?
Tom, new reporting suggesting that Vice President J.D. Vance is actually skeptical about this war. What do we know about this possible friction that's happening inside the White House?
Yeah, some interesting comments from President Trump earlier this week, who described Vice President J.D. Vance as being less enthusiastic about the war when it started. But it turns out that the vice president was actually asked directly about this sort of thing recently. Here's what he had to say.
When you're thinking about a major decision like this, the way the president makes these decisions is he talks to a lot of people. Obviously, we're thinking about various ins and outs, various options, what this looks like, how to accomplish our goals, what our goals should be. And I think it's important for the President of the United States to be able to have that conversation with his team. Part of what makes our national security team so cohesive is that we all trust each other, that we all have a very free exchange of ideas. I'd like to keep that going.
Now, in the past, Vice President Vance has spoken out against prolonged involvement by the United States in foreign countries. But we will note, too, that just yesterday, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth described Vance as an indispensable team member of the Trump administration.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.